This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. You're going to see some shirted benches by myself and Austin Baumgarten. It's really, really important that you learn how to utilize your bench shirt and that you get used to these heavier weights. One of the best ways to get used to the heavier weights is to utilize boards. But as we've seen in our gym, and as you've probably seen from some other powerlifters, it can be overdone to the point where you're now wearing a shirt that works well off of boards, but doesn't work that well full range of motion. So you want to also work with lower boards and work on touching here and there in your training. Austin tends to tuck his elbows in a little too hard, and you can see if you were to pause that at the bottom, he's in a real functified position there to try to press that weight out. This is 650 or 655 with the Mad Dog slingshot. Looks like I could probably handle a little bit more. Maybe I'll try a little bit more this week. Here's Austin going again. We're trying to have him work on forcing his elbows outward a little bit more. The way that he's benching is not a huge problem, but what's happening is he's basically running away from the material of his shirt. When you're in your bench shirt, if you force your elbows out, you'll notice that the whole shirt will lock up like crazy. And you actually want to try to go through that. You want to try to go through that point where you're really stretching the shit out of the shirt. Here's my chubby little self going. Had a decent day on this day. Made a lot of lifts even before this. Took my time with the warm-ups and did a couple off a 3-board, couple off a 2-board. Did a couple off a 1-board. This is I need more coffee, I think. This is around 820 or 840, something like that. And now I switched into a tighter shirt. That's why I went back up on the boards. This shirt really has my elbows pinched in hard, so it's kind of strange. But just something I'm really kind of working on over the next couple of weeks. I kind of lost that one right at the top before I even started. I think it's around 8. I can't remember what that is. Anyway. Yeah, this shirt kind of pulls my elbows in a little bit too hard. And it just makes the lift really difficult. My elbows come slamming in, even at the top. I have to have the rack real high too, which is kind of awkward in some ways. But if you're going to be good, if you're going to be great, it's going to be a learning process. It's going to take some time to try to figure this shit out. And I think one thing that separates me from some other people is that I'm willing to take the time. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to keep working on my squats, my deadlifts, my benches until, I hit 27, 28, and so on. So it's important to learn your gear. It's important to get into your gear. If you're new to it, make sure you're getting into it at least once or twice a month. If you feel like you know it, then maybe stay out of it. Work on your raw, building your raw strength. A lot of people ask me about raw strength. How important is it? Well, it's extremely important. But on one hand, if you're already really good at your raw bench, then maybe it's not a huge focus. But also, you want to look at where are you weak. You need to be honest with yourself. For myself, I do great with a full range of motion bench press, but I don't press that great off of boards raw. So that should be a focus of mine. I press really well in the slingshot. My best bench, in a competition is 854, and that's a good bench. But I haven't hit a PR in a bench in a while. So, working on full range, working on low boards is where my focus is at for right now. Whereas other people like to overload a lot, which is great. I've done that in the past and had some success with it, but I also don't really see a point in benching 950 off a 3-board, which I've done before, and then going to the meet and only benching 850 or 830. To me, it just doesn't really make any sense. It's a good way to get yourself hurt. And in powerlifting, you want to try to lift within your means, just as these guys are doing here, Jesse Burdick and Mr. Robot Pants. These guys had a great day. They both made a lot of lifts, both made very clean, successful lifts, and that's exactly what you're going to want to do. That's it from SuperTraining.tv.